Welcome to Time is Not on Your Side with your host, board-certified litigation attorney Robert Eckard. In every episode, we'll hear from other attorneys, accountants, and other professionals who can impact the success of your litigation. You can find this show on all the major platforms, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our website, roberteckardlaw.com. Now here's the host of Time is Not on Your Side, Rob Eckard.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Time is Not on Your Side. Today's guest is Adam Ross, and the title and the topics today that we're going to talk about for Adam is State Prosecutor, State Attorney Executive Director, Pinellas County, Florida GOP Chair, and Judicial Nomination Commission Chairman, Adam Ross. Adam, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rob.
Well, thanks for being here today. And today's a little bit different podcast between folks that are generally in the mix of the legal field practicing law or out there advocating for their clients. Although you do have a client, I guess, is the state of Florida and Mr. Bartlett, which we'll get into. But a little background on Adam. Adam is a 2011 College of Law graduate from Berry University, Adam?
Yep, in Orlando, yep.
In Orlando. And since that time has been working as an assistant state attorney, prosecutor, except for a little stint, time off during the time between 2011 and today, 2024. He's been primarily an assistant state attorney and has moved into a role as an executive director for the state attorney's office here in the Sixth Judicial Circuit. Adam has a vast experience and rather deep experience in the financial sector, as we'll learn today. He is an influential director in the areas he serves in, and as a seems to me, natural born leader, although I don't know if leaders are naturally born. Are they, Adam?
No, there's I don't like phrases natural born leader or self-made man. You can be independently wealthy, successful, run your own business, be a leader, but you learned it from somewhere, right? You know, you got to where you are because of the people along the way. So yeah,
that is typically the case, and you have always recognized that fact, and which I think has made you as successful as you are. Let me first start with the fact that you began your career in the legal field as an assistant state attorney. I believe it was in Seminole County, Florida.
Yeah, the city of Sanford, Seminole County. It's the 18th Judicial Circuit, which is Seminole and Brevard County, and I mean, about 5-6 months in, I got put in charge of a lot of DUI litigation and cases. I pretty much had all DUI cases. I did the Intoxilizer 8000 litigation, which was really significant in that area because over in Orlando, so the 9th Circuit and 18th Circuit, there was a ton of DUI litigation going on back then regarding the instrument used for breath testing, as I know you're aware of. And I handled those cases for about 2 years. So and then I came over here to Pinellas County.
You know, I've always said, since I was a former assistant state attorney, also in the same office you're currently in, a person that can handle a DUI and truly understand, a prosecutor that can handle a DUI, even a defense attorney can handle a DUI case, and the nuances involved in the technical aspects of the case, from, as you indicated, the manufacturer of the machine, the calibration of the machine, the maintenance of the machine. And what we're talking about, the breath test device. Defense attorneys call it a machine. Prosecutors call it an instrument.
It's the battle of vernacular. Yes, it's the battle of vernacular.
You know, lawyers are wordsmiths. You know, we can fight over commas and words. But so you handled that litigation, which I know is quite extensive and requires a real keen awareness of minutia in issues dealing with the almost like a reverse patent issues in sometimes those machines and devices. But you did, while as a prosecutor, and I know you still are a prosecutor, but more in an executive role. We'll get into that. But you've tried 30 plus jury trials. You received
63 jury trials. Yeah, it's
63 jury trials, and that's quite impressive. And for the career, the length of the career so far you've had, some lawyers don't get that their entire life.
Well, I will tell you, as you know, DUIs, a lot of them go to trial, especially over in when I was in Sanford. That I would say I did 30 some odd trials over there, and almost all of them were DUIs. So I mean, they went to trial a lot. It's like you say, if you handle a DUI, you can handle just about anything. But I was very excited when I got the Pinellas that I quickly went out of doing DUIs and was a felony line attorney. And then I was in special prosecution for several years before becoming the executive director. So I got to do a lot of like really big drug cases, murder cases. I've prosecuted anything from petty theft up to first degree murder. So it's when you get into drug trafficking and murder cases, as you know, a lot of those go to trial as well. So,
which makes you, I guess, as educated as one can be in all of the matters within the state attorney's office that are handled in that office, right? And to do what you've done, and then now be in an executive position, you know what the demands and the needs are of those prosecutors in those cases, right?
Oh, absolutely. It is a legal office. It's all the same, from support staff to the paper you write notes on to the case management system that's used for e-filing and e-service, all that stuff. There's a lot of minutia like any law firm. And I enjoy being an executive director. It was a huge honor when Bernie McCabe promoted me to executive director. And I had to, I quickly realized that now the budget between the state and the counties of Pinellas and Pasco, because the Sixth Judicial Circuit has those two counties in it, it's about $50 million. And it's a little over $50 million. And I have to account for every penny of it. So that takes a lot of time as well. I spend a lot of time in Tallahassee getting our budget passed, lobbying on criminal justice issues. And it's a lot of fun. And yes, that trial experience, that experience from being a misdemeanor attorney, a felony line attorney, and a special prosecutor definitely gives you that global perspective to know what you're doing and know what you're talking about. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun because and you're really good at what you do. So, but what you're doing, I mean, let me stop there for a second. What's drawn you, Adam, to public service? I mean, you've been a public servant for so long, and
2011.
You and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm in the private practice sector, and I do state and federal, civil and criminal litigation, international litigation. People like you would be so valuable, make so much money in the private sector, but you have this burning interest and desire and passion to serve.
Yeah, it is a calling. How I got into it is I did a, CLI, certified legal internship in my 3L year, the last year of law school for everybody listening. It's called, you got the 1L year, 2L year, 3L year. And I loved it. I was in Sanford I did it in juvenile division, and I was trying cases as an intern. I loved litigation. I loved the work. And at the time, the state attorney in the 18th Circuit was Norm Wolfinger, and he hired me like right on the spot. So I had a job in 2011. The economy was not like it is today. Finding a job for a lawyer out of law school was not as easy. And I do have a finance background. I had originally planned on going back to Wall Street. That's where I worked in finance, and I liked the job so much. I I called my boss on Wall Street and I said I wasn't coming back, which was an interesting conversation, especially seeing how I was making $40,000 as prosecutor, but I've never regretted it. It was a lot of fun. Being a litigator, being in court was a lot of fun. But when you try that many cases, you've done everything, moving into an administrative role was very comfortable for me because of my finance background and knowing the office. And I've really enjoyed it the last 6 years.
Because, I mean, we're real lucky to have you here in our circuit and as the Republican National Commission chair for Pinellas County. Most people listening would be thinking, how does this guy do what he does as a lawyer? Because most lawyers can't step over that line to do what you are doing with budgeting and policy implementation or proposals, working with the governor's offices of policy and budget management, overseeing human resources and administrative tasks of over 400 plus employees at the state attorney's office. And I think I'm glad you mentioned that you have a degree or background in finance and you worked on Wall Street. And that's important because not every prosecutor has that experience, which makes you, I think, keenly qualified to be doing what you're doing. I mean, State Attorney Bruce Bartlett has found his golden goose with you.
Bruce Bartlett is a great state attorney, and it's a really great office. It's got a great culture. There's always something going on. I spend several, a dozen or more weeks of the year up in Tallahassee, which is fun as well. Being up there, watching the budget process, watching the bill process. It's definitely a fun job.
Adam, I was once told that watching sausage being made is not so fun. And I'm told that the legislative process is like that. And you say it's fun. We all have our idea of fun.
That's some people's opinion, but it's not mine.
Okay. All right. Thankfully. And so you do have a schedule that's relatively diverse. And I guess it's interesting because you really there's never the same day doesn't ever occur to you, right? It seems like you have all these other matters and issues that you're constantly dealing with. Do you have help in your office right now with your position? Or is it just you?
No, of course. So there's supervisors that run. So I supervise the support staff in the office. We've got several supervisors that run the different divisions that do a great job and help out. And then I have an administrative staff that helps out with processing all of the budget. So I've got a finance director, I've got administrators for finance as well. And they help me process everything. I don't do every transaction myself. That'd be impossible.
Yeah. For you, maybe not. I don't know. I think under your suit right there, you're hiding a red cape or something. I don't know. But let me ask you this. Does every state attorney's office, or do you know within the state of Florida, have a person like you in it?
Every state attorney has an executive director, correct. It's part of Florida statute, in fact. Yeah.
Okay. And so moving on, you also have a pretty influential role in Florida politics. I would say influential role. You're part of the you're part of the Judicial Nominating Commission, the Federal Judicial Nominating Commission, correct?
Yeah, appointed by Senator Marco Rubio, correct.
Okay, and for those guests and listeners that don't know what the Federal Judicial Nominating Commission is, can you tell them what that is and what you do on that commission?
Yes, it's when I first got on in 2017, I was appointed by Senator Marco Rubio. It was the Judicial Nominating Commission. It's now called the Advisory Committee. Same thing. We interview candidates that apply for openings in the Middle District of Florida. So that runs from Fort Myers all the way up to Jacksonville. It's the second largest district in the country behind out in Los Angeles. So
you say when they apply for openings, you mean judicial openings?
Yes, federal district court judges. And we interview them, we do their background, and we make recommendations to the senator of candidates for him to suggest to the White House to be picked to be a federal district court judge. And then obviously if they get picked by the president, it goes to the Senate for a confirmation hearing. Goes for a confirmation hearing.
That role, to be given that level of trust and responsibility,
it's very humbling. I mean, the first time that I went to the interviews and I'm looking around at all the other commissioners, I was like, I would say I was 33 at that point in time. I was like, wow, it was a very humbling experience to be given such a great responsibility. And you look around the room and there's state senators, state representatives, a former lieutenant governor, different members of, people that run big businesses in Florida. And it was a very humbling experience. And I take it very seriously being on the JNC, because you are trying to give candidates to be picked with the right judicial philosophy that are going to follow the law and do what a judge is supposed to do. So I take it very serious, and it is very humbling. And the commissioners, everybody does such a great job, makes the process very smooth. And so far, we've had some great judges appointed at this point. So. And you also are the commissioner for the Sixth Judicial Circuit's judicial. I serve with you. Yeah, we served together on the Sixth Circuit Judicial Nominating Commission, and I'm in my second year as the chair. I hope it's my last year as a chair, because it's a lot of extra work, but it's also at the same time it's important work. I mean, we know that you got to have the right people as judges that are going to follow the law, do the right thing as far as temperament goes, do the right thing with that and follow the law. And these are circuit court judges, county court judges, we practice in front of them all the time. They're involved with the public, defendants, witnesses, victims, jurors, picking the right person to do that job. It's a huge responsibility, and it's humbling as well to serve on that and having been the chair. And, we've seen some great judges, right, get appointed through that process. And it's a very valuable service to the community. And I got to tell you, we have great commissioners that work with us, and the process, it's fun yet serious. We seem to have a good time with it. I will say that I got on the JNC in July of 2020, and there was several resignations since that time. I feel like I've at least 10 judges that I've gone through the process with getting appointed. It's hard to even remember how many there's been.
A lot of people work.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and we don't get paid for it.
Not directly. Right? We reap the reward when we have qualified judicial good officers on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you and I agree. We take that job very seriously and important. And for those listeners to understand the difference between the JNC in the state level and the Judicial Nomination Commission on the federal level, Adam, tell the listeners, as far as the JNC on the state level, how does that differ from the federal level?
Yeah, so Florida has 67 counties. They have, depending on population, a certain amount of county court judges, which handles criminal misdemeanors and civil cases under $50,000. We also have those 67 counties are broken into 20 judicial circuits. We practice in the Sixth Judicial Circuit, which is Pinellas and Pasco County. There's a certain amount, depending on population, of circuit court judges, which cover both counties, do felony criminal cases and any civil case above $50,000. So it's a lot of work, and we have a lot of really great judges here in the Sixth Circuit. So,
and the candidates that come before the Judicial Nomination Commission at our state level, those that are selected or nominated, their names then go to the governor's office.
The governor, and we have to a minimum of 3, a maximum of 6 per opening. It goes to the governor's office, the executive office of the governor is called EOG, and they do their own interviews, and the governor makes a choice from that list. Yep.
Okay. And moving on, you are also the Republican National Committee's commissioner for Pinellas County, correct?
Pinellas County, it's a mouthful. Pinellas County Republican Executive Committee, doing business as the Pinellas GOP, which sounds a lot better. But I have been the chair since December of 2022. Before that, I was the vice chair. Before that, I was the legal counsel and then the membership director. I've had a lot of positions on it. I've been involved since 2015, so 9 years now. And it's a great organization. Our goal is to help qualified Republican candidates get elected. We don't get involved in primaries. It's really for the general election. Listen, we have a lot of great grassroots here in Pinellas County. It's a great organization as far as, handing out, whether it's voter guides, knocking doors, waving signs, doing phone banks. Our volunteers, I would say, I'm sure every chairman says that they're the best in the state. They do tireless work that they don't get paid for, and it's paid off here in Pinellas County. As of 2 years ago, we flipped the school board and the county commission. We've been winning in municipal races. It's been a great time, and the credit doesn't go to me; it goes to all of the great volunteers that we have.
Well, you have been instrumental, and your humbleness comes through. I did receive a letter, although I was away this week, as you know, but I did receive a letter from you today. When I got back, I opened it up. It was in my stack of mail. You also coordinate the events, two primarily that I always attend.
My main job as the chairman, because we don't have dues or fees or anything like that, is the fundraise. And that money goes for our operations. We have an office. We have, during campaigns, we open another office, which is to help candidates and volunteers have a place to work. People put their signs, have meetings. We have staff. We have one paid staff member, an executive director named Charlotte Smith, who does a great job. She coordinates all of our volunteers and all this stuff. My main job is the fundraise. So we do fundraisers. We do a Lincoln Day dinner, a Reagan Day dinner. We bring in speakers from, Senator Rick Scott, Senator Marco Rubio, Governor Ron DeSantis. You go down the line. We've had great speakers, and we do have one coming up in April, and it's going to be Florida Commissioner of Agriculture, Wilton Simpson, who's doing a phenomenal job. Of course, he was the Senate president before that and served in the Senate for 8 years. Fantastic guy, great Floridian, and looking forward to the event.
With the one that we had last, or you chaired last for the Republican Party for Pinellas, was Corey Smith from Polk County.
Reagan Day dinner last December. Yes. Congressman Corey Mills and our local Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, both of them doing a great job. Passionate conservative fighters up in DC, doing a just amazing job for us up there.
Both amazing, and it was a great event. Let me shift gears a little bit, Adam. Tell our listeners about maybe a little bit about your personal side. Married fairly recently, right?
Yeah, got married in December of 2022. My wife Tara is awesome. We've been together for over 5 years now.
She a lawyer?
No. She works in politics.
Do you have a doormat or anything before people come into your house that says a lawyer and a normal person live here?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's a good idea. I might get something like that. But no. My wife and I, we like to do a lot of stuff. We like to travel. We like to go to events, whether it's like concerts or sporting events. We have a very good social life. Obviously, from all the political events. Me doing political work, her working in politics. We do a lot of that, and we have fun doing it. I gotta say it is tireless, but at the same time, it's fun because it's all for the right cause.
It sounds to me, and the next question was going to be, of all the things you've been involved in, and it's such a young guy to have been involved in all of these relatively high level matters. What is it that drives you?
Well, it sounds very cliche, but if you care about the community that you live in, you got to be involved in it, right? Otherwise, otherwise you're to blame if it's not going well, right? But my grandfather, my grandmother always ingrained in us, you have to give back. So, and I've been involved in my church, been on the vestry twice. I do all this political stuff because I care about good government. You can't complain about your government if you're not involved in it, right? So I take, we're all responsible. This is the United States of America. We're a republic. If you want good government, you need to be involved, and I encourage everybody to. We are blessed to be in the freest country in the world, and if we want to keep it that way, you have to be involved in it.
You bring up a good point. I was in Cuba this past week as part of a group of lawyers and law students from Stetson University College of Law on a study abroad program. And, it's amazing. 90 miles south of Key West is this beautiful island called Cuba that is still, a socialist communist country and really run like such, both politically and economically. And, it's unfortunate that the folks here in this country, the ones that advocate for, socialism and things of that nature, really, if they went and experienced what that looked like, not China communism, which has a capitalist economy, but true socialism and communism, I'm sure that there would be a different perspective on that type of advocacy for people in this country. The folks from Cuba, the people from Cuba fled a regime that was, I won't get into that issue, but you have just articulated what a great country we live in, and you have been instrumental in promoting those values and those things that you believe this country represents. And we got
Ronald Reagan, is famous for, and it's like it was a calling to the American people, is that, freedom is always one generation away from not existing anymore, right? We have to fight for it. We have to hold it and pass it on to the next generation. And my parents, my grandparents, they all instilled that in us. And, I feel like I'm part of their legacy as well, because I'm doing it myself. So it's something I'm proud about, but I don't really, I stay humble about it. I don't, me, like I don't go around talking about all this stuff all the time.
No, you don't. That's why I was very, very fortunate, and our listeners, I hope, understand how fortunate we are to hear your perspective on these things today. You are a humble guy, always thanking others. I don't know if you've ever taken credit or accepted the accolades you received for yourself. You're always recognizing those around you and those who you believe have helped you. And, very, very humble and thankful for the things you have. And
I got to tell you, we all get to where we are because of other people, whether it's teachers, bosses, friends, family. Our values are instilled on us by the people around us. And my success is also their success. They helped me get to where I am today. And I always feel like you pay your dues, but you also have to pay respect. So.
Well, you are a true asset to this country and to this state. And leaving the listeners with for the few minutes we have, I want to talk about your next phase of your
running
career.
For Pinellas County tax collector. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wow. That is quite a shift. Although someone with your background, training, experience, I can't think of anyone more qualified to take over our current tax collector, who's retiring. Great guy.
Carlos Thomas, great guy. Yeah,
great guy.
And I'm honored to have his endorsement and his predecessor, Diane Nelson. I got over 50 years worth of tax collectors endorsements here in Pinellas County, and lots of our legislative delegation, county commissioners. I'm very proud of grateful for and humbled by their support and their trust in me to handle this important office. It's a little under 2 million transactions a year, from property taxes, DHSMV, your driver's license, tag, title, registration, all that stuff, boats. I mean, you name it. It's a lot to do. And my background in running the budget and admin for the state attorney's office was a natural transition. And I was humbled when Carlos Thomas came to me and wanted me to look into running. I looked at it. It's a good transition from what I do now into running that office. And it gets to highlight what I enjoy the most about what I do is customer service, dealing with the public. A lot of being the executive director for the state attorney's office is dealing with the public through whether it's, the police officers that are witnesses, our members of the public that are witnesses, the victims, dealing with the attorneys, dealing with in the office and out of the office like yourself. I really enjoy that part of it. The litigation part of being an assistant state attorney. I've done all that stuff. I don't miss it. What I miss the most about doing that stuff is the aspect of the customer service, dealing with people through that. But I get to do that now as the executive director. And I'm really looking forward to doing that as the tax collector, helping people out. It's a valuable service, like the state attorney's office. Nobody wants to go to the tax collector's office. You have to, and I'm going to make sure you have the best experience possible and that it's fast and efficient.
That's huge.
What matters. Yeah,
that's huge. And to gain the endorsement of our current tax collector, who is an amazing guy and has done a great job with that office, and but for his retirement would probably still be there. But for him to pass the gavel or be wanting to pass the gavel and tell the public, listen, as your current tax collector, this is the guy that should be in this position, or this is the person that should be in this position, handling the tax collector's office. And that's quite a endorsement. And not that it's not justified, but it is an endorsement. And for the people that will make that decision or elect you, and I think they're going to find that you are a bargain for that position. In
Thank
my
you. That's
opinion.
very nice of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great office. The supervisors, the chief deputy tax collector, and all the employees there. I've gotten to meet several of them. It's a great crew, and I'm looking forward to working with them.
Well, that's going to be another point on your credentials, which is continuing to build quite rapidly and quite quickly. What do you see for the future? Do you have any goals, aspirations? What if somebody from DC called you and said, "We need you at the federal level, Adam. We need you in Congress. We need you to, we need you in the executive branch of Washington." What's your thoughts?
Tax collector is good for me. I enjoy doing the county political stuff, helping our candidates. Being the chair of the Pinellas GOP and being tax collector is good enough for me. I do a lot with my family. I like sticking here in Pinellas County. So,
well, I'm going to say this podcast, of course, will be indelibly preserved for generations to come, of course. And I want to ask you if you will kindly agree to become another guest on my on a
anytime.
Podcast.
Happy to do it anytime.
When the path of Adam Ross continues to move down that road of service and commitment to government, be it state or federal, and watching you help and watching you share your skills and your knowledge and your ability to get things done. And as we continue to watch that happen, I'm going to be excited for you and your family. And, anything I can do along the way to help is, of course, something I would do. And I just give me the commitment you'll come back to us small people.
Rob, we're good friends, good colleagues. I will happy you're doing. And by the way, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Well, I thank you. And any words of wisdom, any departing words of wisdom, either to young lawyers or students in law school that say, I'm listening to this guy. This guy is amazing. Any final words of wisdom?
If you work hard, you honor your family, and you honor God, you're going to do well in life.
Amen. Amen. Folks, that's Adam Ross, our current executive director at the state attorney's office, the Sixth Judicial Circuit. Still carries a badge as a state prosecutor, and the chairman, I know I'll screw this up, the chairman of the Pinellas County Republican Party, the GOP, and current candidate for Pinellas County tax collector, who, of course, has my vote as a Pinellas County resident and my endorsement. Yeah, Adam, thanks for today. And for those of you listening, this is another wrap on Time Is Not On Your Side, a podcast. And if you like our show, please click like. You'll see us on all the major platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And we look forward to having you back on another episode of Time Is Not On Your Side. Thanks.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
You've been tuning into Time Is Not On Your Side with your host, board-certified litigation attorney, Robert Eckard. You can find this show on all the major platforms, including YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our website, roberteckardlaw.com. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, questions, and for sharing this show with others.